Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now, as somebody who provides gear reviews, one of the things that I get my hands on all the time is good quality knives. I actually go out of my way to try to find them between different manufacturers and different brands and companies, but lately I've been looking a little more at some of the handcrafted knives from some of the handmade makers out there. Now, in that regard, I got very lucky. I found a maker who is extremely personable, works very well with you, is ridiculously talented, and puts together one of the nicest blades, if not the nicest blade I have ever had in my hands. Now, the maker I'm talking about is Thomas Hacker of Thomas Hacker Forged Knives. Now, do me a favor and give Thomas some support. Take a look at his website and get some more details about other offerings that might be available. Now, I have a lot to show you. The blade I'm going to show you today is absolutely beautiful, and I want you to be able to see the entire process for yourself. So if you'd like to see what I'm talking about and get your eyes on this magnificent blade, do me a favor. Stay tuned. Working with Thomas Hacker is a collaborative process the entire way. So in my case, I wanted something around a 5-inch blade. I wanted a knife that was in a hunting or camp knife design. Now, Thomas is capable of providing a number of different blades, from plain carbon steel, machine finished, hand finished, Damascus steel, and in my case, I wanted a San Mai construction. So the blade we chose is made of a 1095 high carbon steel core with A203E sides and a nice bright sheet of nickel in the middle that makes the blade pop. I wanted somewhat of a classic look using wood scales, so we opted for these beautiful slabs of redwood. With micarta liners and micarta pins, the entire design is a good rounded out mix of modern design with classic touch. Thomas sketches the overall design for approval, and after you give him the green light, he gets started on his craft. So now that you've seen the build process, this here is the Thomas Hacker custom forged knife, hand forged, absolutely beautiful. He does all this work himself. So a gorgeous San Mai design. This is a couple of different steels sandwiched together, hand hammered, and just a gorgeous, I'd say, hunter or camp style knife. This to me is just an excellent shape, size, do-all knife with excellent ergonomics, beautiful blade shape. I asked specifically for a very subtle recurve. I kind of wanted that nice little sweep for two reasons. One, I just think it looks badass. And two, I think it adds just a little bit of functionality in carving tasks. I do like a flat, straight grind on the bottom of my blades. This is a high saber grind, pretty flat the entire way up. Goes into a little bit at the very bottom of a convex, which is great for edge retention and overall strength and durability. Beautiful sharp point and just a really fine refined edge. Really no micro bevel on this. It is pretty much a flat grind, zero ground all the way down to that edge. This has an unsharpened swedge right at the top, and if you look at the detail on this blade, it is just absolutely gorgeous. Just perfect the way it fits in your hands. It's almost as if this was sculpted to fit my exact grip with that little ramp there, so your thumb just indexes so perfectly. The knife just fits very natural and comfortably in your hand. The handle work, absolutely gorgeous. A nice palm swell, fits beautifully, fills out your hand the way you want it to. Has actually a flare in the back, which is nice because with your sort of pinky and ring finger, it just grabs on and indexes super nice. I mean, just fills out your hand absolutely perfectly. Nice, smooth, extremely well sanded and rounded, and just the lines on this knife are absolutely gorgeous. So not only does Thomas hand make all of his knives, he also does beautiful leather work. So the sheath is absolutely gorgeous, just perfectly formed, nicely shaped, wet formed for good overall retention. I asked specifically for a pouch style sheath as a dangler, so you'll see a little D-ring on the back that I added. I just put that on there so I could carry this around for a little bit, but I think I may get a slightly different style here. But generally speaking, the knife fits beautifully inside, absolutely perfect, gorgeous leather work, nicely stitched, good little detail, drainage hole in the front, beautifully welted, again just wet formed and perfect in the overall fit. I like the shape, it's kind of unique, actually fits the overall shape and design of the knife, so you get a total package here, which is cool. There is enough of the handle sticking out in the back so you can withdraw the knife. Now it is still a little bit snug from the original construction. This will loosen up over time and as I use it, and you'll see just a little bit of debris coming off. That's just from the construction process and putting it together, and as I run the knife in and out, it is just kind of working its way in here. Now over time, because the knife is recurve and the leather is very tightly molded and fit to this, it will break in and loosen up and overall be a perfect fit for this knife. Now I've been really itching to use this. I have not yet used this knife. It's still a virgin, and it's absolutely killing me not to use this. I've had it in my hands now for a few days, and I really wanted to show it to you in perfect condition. So now that I have it and I'm filming and you can see it, I think it's time to start to give this thing some use. So a little bit of testing to come, but so far I am just absolutely blown away at how this looks, how it feels, and the overall craftsmanship that's gone into this. Wow. I mean, first impressions to me are always very important, and just the grind geometry on this is ridiculous. I mean, that is such an important thing, is just getting that edge geometry exactly where it needs to be, and this edge is so precise. I mean, it just feels perfect. I'm able to find it really easy. Just run it right down this wood and take these like super tasty little curls from the top all the way to the bottom. Super controlled and nice. That convex edge feels super sweet. I mean, a nice refined edge, so sharp right out of the box. That just feels really good. And whether or not you put your thumb really up on the blade, or you just get yourself a nice full fist worth of handle, either way, feels pretty good. So working it here, just taking my time, trying to slice right down the wood. Totally sweet. Getting into some heavier carving. Just totally hogging out that wood. Nice little controlled action here. Feels great in the hand. Every single little section of this blade is super sharp, so everything from up towards the tip and that belly, that recurve section, back here, feels good. Just a touch sharp on the thumb with that unsharpened swedge, but not something that's going to bother me for the amount of work that I'm going to be doing here right now. So generally speaking, this thing is sweet. So part of me hates the idea of batoning this knife, and the other part of me knows that this is something I want to be able to do with my knife. So hoping for the best here, but drive this thing down and through. It's wood. I hope I don't hate myself for this. But if I'm going to use this as a wilderness blade and need to trust it, well, I sure as hell need to be able to at least baton something this size. That is a stubborn knot, which looks like I should make it down and through there, but let's give it a couple more cracks here. It pretty much did it. I mean, certainly split what I had to, so I mean, that was a pretty solid knot there, and overall a pretty sturdy test. So now I'm just gonna quarter this up. It's already done sort of the hard work. Whoa, bam. And this last piece here. This is the part with that large knot. Let's see if I can get this through there. Oh yeah. Bam. Now, in terms of stabbing tasks, this log is not the best, as it is a bit on the spongy side, but just giving you an idea of the lockup on the blade. You definitely need to be careful where this does not have too much of a finger guard. In fact, you could definitely slide. So for me, in this regard, I will put my sort of thumb up on the top of the blade. Now, it's not the most comfortable where the handle has just a little bit of a hard edge there, but it definitely gives you good quality overall lockup when you use your thumb to protect it. Now, I wouldn't go full force into stabbing down here, but doing some basic stabbing tasks, it feels perfectly fine to me. So using the unsharpened swedge here, see if this will throw some sparks. Let's see. Actually works a little better further up on the spine, closer to the handle. It's not perfect, but it does throw some sparks. It's definitely not the sharpest, which makes it more comfortable in the hand. It does seem to have actually a pretty good edge to it, but it is throwing some sparks, just not showering real heavy. Just that nice, super sharp, fine, refined edge. Just easy to find that grind and run right down the wood, taking these super tasty little curls. I mean, they're not staying on the wood here, but you'll see just the ability to just run this right down with perfect control and ease, getting some nice fine little curls. This would be beautiful for starting a fire. So now that I've done all that work, you can see there is a little bit of scuffing. That's to be expected. A little bit of the patina maybe on the 1095 section of the blade has come off just a little bit. You know, that's perfectly fine with me. I prefer my blades to look used and be used, and so in that regard, it's something I'd expect. Got some minor scratches and scuffs on the blade, which is fine, and then the top section where I was batoning, I can feel a little, I think, residue on here, which is not a big deal. So, you know, I could clean this up and get it back into pretty close to perfect shape, but the fact of the matter is, I'm actually thrilled with the fact that now it has some scuffs. So one of the things I really enjoyed about working with Thomas is that he's very active on Instagram and Facebook. So you always get little glimpses of what he's doing in the shop. So you see the different projects he has going on. And in my case, I actually got to see little tidbits of my blade being built, which was totally cool. So a very interactive and I'd say sort of social aspect that's brought to the design and build process, which is definitely cool. Now, a quick story and something for you to think about. I saw a situation where there was a maker making some beautiful handmade knives, and it may ring a bell. Somebody by the name of Peter Kohler. Now, put this into perspective. At the time, his handmade, hand-forged knives were about $350. Now, there was like an 8-week lead time and waiting period to get your hands on one of those knives, and at the time, I really had to make the decision whether or not I thought it was worth both the money and the time to wait. Now, I ultimately decided that I was not going to buy one of his knives, but I made a grave mistake. Had I bought one of his hand-forged knives at the time, which pretty much now at this point you really can't get your hand on, I'd be sitting on a piece worth a couple $1,000s. So not only are you getting a beautiful blade from a hand-forged maker, but in that case, you're getting something that actually appreciated in value. And that's what I'm saying here about Thomas Hacker. I believe he is somebody who's going to continue to grow within the knife community, get better and better, and his pieces will be worth more and more money. I really do believe that this is top-notch quality and something that at some point in the near future is going to be really hard to get your hands on. So with that said, I really strongly suggest taking a good hard look at the work of Thomas Hacker. Get to him now while you can get him. Get to him now while you can afford it, and get to him now while you actually have an opportunity to get one of these beautiful blades at a great price. So I'd just like to say thank you very much, Thomas, for working with me on this project. This was a blast. The entire thing from the beginning to the end, going through the design process, going through the build and watching your work unfold right in front of me was definitely cool, worth the wait, and I am extremely excited to see what you have in store in the future. So alright guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.